Hey everybody, welcome to another week, Litecoin Underground. Doing, I guess, the next in my series of Get to Know a Litecoiner. Oops, sorry, I had to cut the music out. Trying to go through a lot of people. My thought was that even though we're a number of years into knowing a lot of these people, people like Johnny Litecoin, Litecoin Lisa, might be familiar to a lot of us. People have been around for a while, maybe just a reintroduction to everybody. And so this week I got Carlos Estrada in, which always makes me think, obviously, of Eric Estrada. I almost always feel like maybe I messed up. I'm like, wait, is that really his last name? Like, it doesn't seem right. But
Oh, it sure is.
so Carlos is does the Coin Vigilante, podcast, but also you do live streams. I know that's been a little less of what you've been doing lately, but
Yeah.
I think you've been Bitcoiner, Litecoiner for quite a while. So
That's right.
I guess welcome to coming in. Fellow, like I said, a fellow Ohioan that I didn't realize till recently.
Yeah.
I think we got a decent Ohio faction, We start including these Dogecoiners, there's quite a few of them. So
I know. Yeah. No, thanks for bringing me on your show, man. I love what you're doing with the community, the Litecoin Underground spaces, everything that you're doing. I think what you're doing is sweet. And dude, I actually love this background music that you got going on. It's kind of catchy.
well,
Love it.
that came from he goes by Arno Hack, RNOHACH is his his Twitter handle, and he's a Dogecoiner, but he started coming into the spaces, and he has a band, and he offered to put that together for me. So I was like, all right, if you want to, I'm not gonna. And it's funny because he gave it to me, and then I thought he said it was just like a first run, and then like after about 3-4 months, he's like, hey, why aren't you using that song I gave you? I was like, I thought there was more you were gonna do. So yeah, it is. It's kind of cool. I kind of appreciate that. The next thing is the logo. Like, this was designed by no, shoot, I'm gonna forget who it is. LTC Concepts.
Oh yeah.
So I think I might do a contest for a new logo design, because this one, unfortunately, the black, it's hard to read it, So if you don't know what it says, it doesn't. It's just a blob. So
Yeah.
maybe
pretty good.
That looks pretty clean, but it's kind of stealing the London Underground thing. So
Yeah.
but anyway, yeah, really, Carlos. It's funny because I've known about you, and I think, like, obviously you've made content, I've made content. We met out in Vegas, but we haven't even, we haven't crossed streams, so to speak, yet.
Yeah. Not
So, what's going on with the podcast? Are you still doing that, or what's?
Yeah. So, it really kicked off. I think it was in 2021 at the beginning. The bull market was just starting. It was starting to get pretty hot. It came right after the news of PayPal, accepting Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, all of that stuff. And, I guess even from a backstory perspective, in 2017, that's when I got involved. I rode the wave all the way up, made
all
crazy
the way down?
money. Well, made crazy money, didn't realize it. And then all the way back down. So, I was able to learn a little bit about that kind of pump and dump situation that happened, and but I did have a full conviction in Litecoin. So from the moment that I got involved, Litecoin always made sense to me. I always saw it as a definite opportunity for people to use it all over the world. Even right now, if I talk to certain Bitcoiners who do Bitcoiners shows and all this stuff, like their whole branding revolves around Bitcoin, and I tell them, hey, how I need to pay you for this, or how much does it cost for the sponsorship or whatever, and I'm like, what do you want me to pay you in? Well, what do they say? A lot of times, Litecoin. So
Right.
it's just so easy to transfer. It's immediate, it's instant, and they know they're going to get it in a split second. So that whole idea of Litecoin being peer-to-peer, instant, it's seamless. It's super easy to use. I had full conviction, and I wanted to create a podcast to illustrate that conviction that I had to other people, because I wanted other people to realize the importance of Bitcoin. At the time, maybe like Bitcoin was like, I don't know, $8,000 when I started the podcast. Litecoin was like still around, I don't know, 70, 80. I don't remember. But the whole goal was, hey, how do I get more people to understand the importance of this? Because I had friends who, it's just we don't realize the financial system that we live in, especially if we're in the United States. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we haven't experienced the degradation of uh, fiat money yet as much as other countries have. So we live in this little comfort zone and bubble. And I wanted to, show the world, hey, Bitcoin has huge potential for this. Litecoin has huge potential for, protecting your purchasing power, for allowing you to be peer to peer. You know, we live in such a world where almost everything, we're so used to someone overseeing it. We're so used to someone
Yep.
telling you the rules, the railways. Like, guess what? We can transfer value, wealth, peer to peer without anyone telling you anything. No matter what the price of Bitcoin is, no matter what the price of Litecoin is, you're still able to transfer that wealth. And I think that that's got huge power. So I was able to get a couple good, people to interview, like, all the way from Charlie Lee to Clint Westwood to, people that you've had on your show.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of good people that, are strong community members for Litecoin. And, the nice thing is that all of them in common, share that passion for it. Like, we need
Yep.
people out there, boots on the ground, in any way that they can share their talents, to push for the adoption. So that's kind of where it went. I started finding myself a little more distracted when I created the watches
Yeah.
with the show. It was just I needed to prioritize a little better. Actually want to start back with the Coin Vigilante podcast, but throw a little bit of a twist of yes, Bitcoin, yes, Litecoin. To me, it just started to get a little bit redundant. I would just always talk about the same problem, same solution, same
Yep.
problem, same. And to me, even to me, it was kind of wearing me down a little bit. And now I want to do more of maybe talk about interview business people, people that live in the world of entrepreneurship, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe talk about their experiences, how do they run a business, what are a couple of tips that benefited them into becoming successful, what are a couple obstacles. And so I'm trying to jumpstart that, still trying to do the Bitcoin and Litecoin, but anyway, that's the story of the show.
No, no, I think that's important. I mean, I've mentioned this a couple times. Recently I put something on Twitter, like a poll, like should I change the name? Should I maybe be, not necessarily crypto underground, but a little more generic, or tackle a different audience, so to speak? Because you do start to feel like, well, I'm talking to the same people about the same things.
Yeah,
Why am I doing this, right? My
yeah,
purpose, and I think yours too, has been, my goal is to grow the thing, is to like bring
right.
people in who are curious, who maybe don't know don't know or care about block sizes and MWeb and extension blocks and how those, that doesn't matter to them. They just want to understand, like, what are these tools, and why are they important? Because I mean, to your point, I think we all get a little lost in the technical stuff sometimes, and it's almost like we want to have an intellectual
Yeah,
pissing contest, so to
right.
speak, rather
Yeah,
than just like backing out and going, why would people care about this? And
yeah,
so, yeah, trying to broaden the community, I think, is, it's a challenge, because you have to kind of step out of your comfort zone and go on to some podcasts about something that maybe you aren't as knowledgeable on, and put yourself out there to a degree.
yeah.
So, well, so what is there anything like in particular? Because everybody buys it. I bought it originally just as kind of a random risky investment,
Mhm.
but there's, at some point, it seems like it kind of clicks with people, or something really triggers that passion where you go, oh, this stuff can be really powerful, or like there might be something, a use case that you saw or that you see, that just, you feel like there's no way that anyone's going to top this use case, and so therefore this stuff's
Yeah.
going to be here to stay, right?
Yeah. Well, I think the fact that, I mean, it's kind of hard because every person has different values as to what's important to them. But to me, the moment that someone for the first time is able to receive Litecoin directly and send
Mm-hmm.
Litecoin directly, I mean, to me, that was a wow moment, because you start realizing part of it is, see, the problem I think about adoption with Bitcoin, Litecoin, crypto is that it actually takes some good amount of effort here to understand what's going on. But when you do, I mean, it's like the Matrix. It's like you took what is it, the red pill, right?
Yeah, I think that's the
You,
one.
you
Yep.
took the red pill, and then like everything
The
opens
veil is
up,
lifted. Yeah.
and
Yep.
it makes perfect sense. You're like, man, I've been living in a whole nother world. But when I ever like try to explain, Bitcoin, Litecoin to people, like it takes a couple days to get them to actually realize, oh, we've been living in this kind of system. There's actually an alternative. Oh wait, I can send money without anyone knowing, like a bank, like it's almost like a mental blockage that people can't get
Yep.
past. And I think that's one of the hardest things that, you know, and if you think about it, if we really want Litecoin and Bitcoin to be such a world adopted thing, you got to think of how financially, like our financial system has been ingrained in our brains and our blood and everything so hard over decades, centuries, to where it's going to take time to actually
Well,
turn that off.
it's in everything you do. It's in every movie you watch or TV
Yeah.
show, and your
So,
whole education system is around the idea, like you said, that there's somebody in charge of it that isn't you,
yeah,
and that
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah,
fine. Just let them take care of it and just
exactly.
go about your day, right?
Hmm.
And so it's very wild to all of a sudden you're responsible for yourself. Um, yeah, it's a brain shift for sure.
It's a cultural shift. I mean, it's for the couple of us that do get it. I think that we're gonna be the biggest benefactors out of that. I mean, we're gonna benefit the most out of it in terms of ROI. I would say investment wise,
Right.
and branding wise. And a business that's built on this. But it's our duty. I mean, we just got to keep pushing it out there. I think humans are smarter than we think, but it just does take a little bit of extra time to change that cultural idea of monetary system, the financials, everything. I mean, it takes a little bit, but I think receiving that Litecoin, sending that Litecoin, the moment you do it, that's a like an instant use case that blows people away sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I get some people. There's one in particular I'm thinking of. He's a Monero guy, comes into spaces all the time, but they you know they still like Litecoin because like you said, when they use it, it works wonderfully. They never have an issue with it.
Yeah.
So they never have a failed transaction. It never takes some weird amount of time. You get final settlement at a fraction of a penny. And so that's, I think, the big hurdle is using the thing. Because once, I've always said that about, I think I was saying that to maybe Lisa last week about, we were talking about racism or something. And I was like, it's so funny. It's the people who have never met somebody of another race that hate them the most because they've never actually engaged with them.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
people who
Exactly.
have never used, like, oh, it sucks. Who cares how fast it is? But then when they use it, like, oh, this is actually really cool.
Yeah.
And so that's a bit of a hurdle. And somewhat of what I wanted to do with the live streams is to actually demonstrate some of these tools
Yeah.
beyond just talking about them. So like I'm trying to get the Thor chain people. I want to experience their platform. Um, Maybe somebody who doesn't. You have some NFT stuff I want to look at, but the NFT
Mhm.
platforms, just use them, and see. Because I was actually kind of an NFT doubter, and I
Mhm. Yeah.
still think there's a limit. I still think they're trying to get a little too big for their britches on some of the things that they're trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But it was like when Lisa has that charity thing. Yeah, if you watched last week, she has uh, his mommy crypto.
Hmm.
I think is raising money. She's going through cancer treatments and all
Yeah.
that, and so the ability to just buy the NFT and that she gets that Litecoin instantly. I don't have to know where she is, who she is,
Yeah.
not about where her bank account is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what kind of currency she uses locally, anywhere in the world. I can just send it, and then that's my ticket to get into whatever it is I need to get into. I think it's a wild concept, right? Like, how does Ticketmaster survive something like that?
I know.
Certain businesses, you go, boy, you're taking all that fee structure out of it.
Yep.
Um, and that's the big thing with the fees. I was thinking about, cause I was going to write something about how fees work, and I
Hmm.
realized how used to fees people are. If you spend
Oh yeah.
money with a PayPal,
It's
you
just part
might
of the
have a
system. Yeah.
yeah. It's like you just get used to these 99 cent, $1.99,
Oh
three
yeah.
ninety nine, 2.50, whatever. So yeah, tell me. I want to go through your watches. I don't know if I might let you take control. Do you have like a fancy display that you can
um,
show us?
I mean, let me just. I can get on the website maybe and just share real quick, but let me see if I can share it here.
Yeah, I do have to tell the audience, I don't own a watch. And the only reason I don't own a watch is because I don't ever wear a watch. I 3, 4 times in my life have gone out and bought watches. I'm like, I'm gonna start wearing a watch, and I'll wear it for like 2 weeks, and then it just sits there. And so,
Hey, but you know what? Most of the people that bought the Bitcoin and Litecoin watches were people that never wore watches and now wear them. So,
all right, okay,
you
okay.
never know. You never know.
Well, they were cool. We got to see them out in Vegas. I thought they were really nice. The one I like that one, the rose gold one. I thought that's the only one I thought about getting for my wife because she might actually wear it. She wears a
The
Fitbit
rose
right
gold.
now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Here, so I think I'm sharing it. Now you got to click on
oh
the.
yeah, yep,
So
perfect.
let me see. I can't see myself, but so anyway, yeah. I mean, these are basically Bitcoin and Litecoin branded watches. So this was a picture from when we were in Las Vegas. We set up a booth there, and a lot of Litecoiners, Bitcoiners, we're out there supporting us. It was really cool because, see, when we made these watches, we wanted to, or my goal was to create something that actually had a meaning. So I could have created any other type of branded watch, right? But I'm really passionate about Bitcoin, really passionate about Litecoin, and I wanted to create something that would actually, mean something to those who wear them, right? If you're gonna
Right,
buy something, I want something that I can carry, that means something to me, that I have a passion with, right? And what better way than a timepiece that will last you decades? I mean, these watches are high quality. They're gonna last you, as long as you don't just beat it with a hammer. Um,
right,
and so they're like you see. I mean, the Litecoin logo, it's branded on there. But the whole idea was, how do we create something that signifies how Litecoin and Bitcoin protect your purchasing power? Over time, if you actually look at what Bitcoin has done and what Litecoin has done, is since their inception, they've actually gained against the US dollar, right? Over time, it has actually protected your purchasing power. And
right.
so, this originated from the idea of creating high quality watches, like I said, inspired by Bitcoin and Litecoin. But people supported that idea, that movement of, what, you're right, there is something I can buy right now that represents that. It means something to me. I can wear it every day. When I look at the watch, subconsciously, whether I want it or not, I'm looking at that Litecoin logo. I'm looking at
Right.
that Bitcoin logo, right? So here's a couple pictures of people who bought our watches from our Kickstarter campaign. So there were, I think, about 250 or so backers across 30
Okay.
countries who decided to back our project, and it became a reality. So people from all over the world received these watches, and are wearing them with pride. So like I said, even in Vegas, about a year and a half after the Kickstarter campaign, all people from all over the place were wearing these watches. So it was really cool to see that people believe in that, that people like to wear something that represents that. But we just
Now,
came out with our, what was I gonna say, the NFT project. So basically, the NFTs are connected to the watches. So whenever you buy one of our new watches, which I'm displaying right here, so this is a Shadow Edition, you get an
right.
NFT that is actually in Lightverse, right? And these NFTs are pretty cool because Charlie Lee decided to collaborate with us. So it's a
Oh,
rotating
are they
NFT
called
card.
Coin? Oh, here they are, Coin Vigilante NFTs. And you're on
Yep.
the front page of the Lightverse. All right. Well, I got
Yeah.
a question for you though. Are they numbered? Are they collectible?
Yeah. So all of the NFTs are collectible. They're numbered.
I mean, the watches though. Are the watches numbered?
So the ones, the new Shadow Edition watches, the ones that we just came up with, are
Yeah.
not. They're not numbered, but the NFTs are.
Okay.
The first collection that we launched was, it's just I would say 750 watches. All of them are numbered. So I'll actually show
Okay.
you right
Very
here.
cool.
So there's only 750 ever. We're not going to make any more of them ever again. So let me pull up a Litecoin one. So since this is
Yeah, it's all
Litecoin Underground.
right. It's all
Uh,
right. You know we're open to anything. It's not. You can own whatever you
it
want,
might be hard
whatever
to see,
your
but
heart
I don't know if,
desires.
let me see.
Probably zoom in. Let me see if I
Here,
can make that a little bigger. Let's do
there you go.
this.
I don't know
Let
if you
me,
can
let me
see that, but
spotlight it. Oh yeah, number one is 750. Yeah, triple,
right. So
double O
all
one. Yep.
all of these watches are numbered. We made them limited, kind of like we try to make it like Bitcoin and Litecoin. There's only 21 million Bitcoin. There's only 84 million Litecoin. So make them limited in that sense too. So kind of cool connection. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, people dig them, man. But I'll tell you what, though, this bear market has definitely affected sales and the hype. I mean, from just engagement. I mean, even if you're on Twitter and you used to get crazy engagement or views on your podcast or whatever, like sales. And I've talked to a lot of business owners because I told them, "Are you like experiencing the same stuff I am?" Because I mean, it's pretty tough.
Right. Yep.
And no matter what marketing we did, I mean, we get the same amount of influencers, we get the same amount of posts out there, we get, we put the same amount of dollar into marketing, you just don't get the same results. So it's just part of the cycle. That's one of the things that I did want to mention on this show is that, if you notice that you're struggling, if your portfolio is down, if you feel like you've lost hope, that's just part of the cycle. I mean, it's always been like that. It's going to come back, especially with, how integrated crypto is now. I mean, it's only going to be here for forever now. I mean, it's not going to go anywhere. So
Yeah, this time's been interesting. I see. I haven't had as much engagement, but I also kind of just checked out last
hmm
June. I've been doing the spaces every week, but I stopped
yeah,
putting podcast episodes up. I only did a few videos here and there, and maybe it was a little bit of the, it is a bit. It can get a bit exhausting, right? To
yeah,
to feel like, what am I talking about the same thing every week? And you want to mix it up, and
yeah.
so yeah, that's something I'm trying to do is branch out topic wise as well. But so, how's it been? Just out of curiosity, like, did you have any history in designing watches? Did you have any experience, or you just had the idea and went for it?
Yeah, I mean, I like to collect watches. I mean, not to the extent of Rolexes or anything like that. But I
Right.
was collecting some watches. I started getting into that. Um, and when I had that idea, I had that my parents are business owners. My wife's parents are also business owners, so that entrepreneurial spirit has been there. And
Right.
I wanted to create something, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to create the next iPhone. I'm not going to create the next whatever. I'm not savvy enough for any of that. I don't know how to do any of that, right? So,
Right.
but I said, I want to create something that does last an impression for people for years and years and years. I can make a
Mm-hmm.
T-shirt that's going to wear off. People don't wear it every day. A watch can be worn every day. A watch
Right.
people can have for years and years to come. It's going to continue to function as long as you take care of it. And so, I mean, believe it or not, I mean, I didn't go to school for it. I didn't, pay lots of money to learn how to design, but everything, and I've talked about it in previous podcasts when I was doing the Kickstarter, everything I've done has been through self-learning process of YouTube, of the internet. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
people have no idea how valuable the internet is. You just learn how to design on there. You watch videos, you figure it out. If you're an entrepreneur, that's the way. I mean, you don't look for the secret recipe. You struggle along the way. You learn how to design. You learn how to do whatever you want to do, and you go out there and do it. If it fails, it fails. If it doesn't, great. But yeah, I mean, all of it through the internet.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
hmm
Yeah, I agree with you. My kids were talking about college just yesterday, and I'm like, you don't have to go to college. Like, if you
Yeah,
think you're going to be a graphic designer, I'd rather buy you like a nice computer and
that's right.
buy you a nice camera and get you some classes on a specific thing than then at least at the end of it, if you don't do it, I can take that stuff and sell it,
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah,
I'm not completely out, right?
right.
I get something back out of it. Well, let me pull up. Let me see. Oh, no, I don't add that. Hang on. I guess I can leave yours up there, so we can both have our screen sharing going on.
Oh, that's fancy.
Let's do. Yeah, I'm very fancy. One thing you'll know about me. So, what do you think of Vegas? Did uh, you have a good time when you're out there? Did you do something
Are you talking about Las Vegas? You cut out for a little bit.
special? You went. Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
All right. No, I was just asking how your Vegas. Yeah, I've heard you the whole time.
Okay. Yeah, Vegas was pretty nice, man. I was actually I thought it was a really cool experience. I mean, the way that they ran the event. I mean, the people there. That's I'm actually more happy that there were less people there because that's the people who went there during that bear market are the people who are going to be there forever. I mean, that's the stronghold of community right there. So I had a great time. I liked the after party. I liked all of that stuff. The booth was very nice. I'll definitely do that again if um, the Litecoin Foundation decides to do another one because it's a great opportunity. I mean, even from the people that I met, who I haven't heard from in 6 months, I've been able to do business deals with them even after the fact. I mean, haven't heard from them since, and here we are now doing something from it. So I think all those networking events are fantastic. I had a good
Right.
time.
Yeah. I do see I'm having some network
I did get
issues.
to
Why,
play
I don't know.
the network.
Yeah, I don't know why. I'm plugged in, kind of wavering on us. But all right, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Yeah. I think what it is
I'm gonna move.
I, yeah, remove I would say stop sharing the screen because I think that's what's taking your.
Well, will you take yours down
Okay.
if you can? This maybe my computer, but it's telling me I had a weak connection regardless. So I've
Oh,
never
okay.
had this. I don't know why I would
Yeah.
have a bad connection. I'm plugged in, so it's my internet. It's not the computer. But all
Yeah.
right.
Isn't.
So these prices. Listen, two,
Oh,
not this.
here, let me hold on. I
It's
think
not
it's still
you.
coming.
It's not you. It's me.
Okay. I honestly think it might be you
Maybe
pulling
hold
up
on.
Lightverse because you showing all those videos takes up a lot of processing power.
Oh, okay, let's do one then. One that apparently 2,000 Litecoin. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, so this is
I
Shan's. He actually, what, did he purposely
Oh,
dox
he
himself
listed it.
here?
Yeah, I was wondering. I did not list any of these for 2,000 Litecoin. That's pretty funny.
So, oh, okay. So there's, interesting. So you actually created qualities of it, just like other
Yep.
NFTs.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, we
So are,
did.
the watches themselves might be unique. I didn't know that. All right, that's kind of cool. So are these all Shan 1300? Now, see, this one doesn't have a holder data on it,
I'm
which
pretty
is
sure
good.
that's still
I
Shan.
hope you don't have to dox yourself to, to list one. So the old Charlie, or just some of them? Yep, most are.
Some of them. Yeah, so
Okay.
only I can't remember how many we did. There's only a couple though that are Charlie Lee signed and with the picture of Charlie Lee. So that we kind of wanted to do kind of like sports cards. Some of them are more rare, some of them are, harder to find. So it's just luck of the draw though. You buy a watch, you might pull the Charlie Lee or you might pull a basic one.
Oh, you don't know.
Nope,
It's random. You don't,
it's random.
unless of course I find the person who owns the NFT.
And one thing that we still have to do is we have to. I'm trying to also list all the NFTs and put the price on them on Lightverse to where people can buy the NFT directly, and then they get a watch with it. So they can either buy directly through coinvigilante.com and then they get the NFT, or they get the NFT through Lightverse and then get the watch. So
Okay. Do you have a preference on how they buy?
I mean, I think it's a little better and easier if they buy, everything through Coin Vigilante because it's just, we get all their information, their address, shipping address, and all that stuff. It's much more easy to figure out, from a
Yeah.
logistics standpoint.
There'll always be the difficulty in the connection of the physical and digital worlds. It's
Yes.
like with these
Yes.
hats. Everyone's like, "Well, I'll just pay in Litecoin. It's great. I still got to know where you live because I got to send you the
Yeah. Yeah.
hat."
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know they have PO boxes, and it'd be kind of cool if there'd be a way to use NFTs or not NFTs, but maybe even some sort of blockchain to obscure a PO box. So, like,
Yeah.
as a sender, you don't know where you're sending it. Um,
That would be interesting. Actually, that's pretty. That would be cool.
and
But I
maybe
don't.
that's the thing.
Yeah. Hey, you can make a business right there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, you'd have to have the post office like be in on it.
Yeah, and that would be a little hard to do. So what's your? So you mentioned college. What's your thoughts on college? Like full transparency.
Well, I went to college. I
Yeah, me
grew
too.
up. It was always like that was what you did, right? Um, that was the next natural step. My older daughter, I mean, she was about to be a freshman in high school, so she's got a few years yet.
Yeah.
it's tough when they're younger because one thing that you realize with younger kids is they don't necessarily see a lot of jobs out there. So they see things like doctor, lawyer,
Yes.
policeman, teacher, kind of I mean, they're like a lot of the state jobs they know of, right? But they don't think about like a business, to just be like I've been in sales most of my life. So
Hmm.
they don't think about that as being a career, or like they don't realize how many jobs exist out there that aren't related to having a degree in any way, shape, or form. So if they want to go be a teacher, unfortunately, they have to go to college to get a degree to be a teacher. If you want to be a lawyer, doctor, so if it's something that you required to get, I think that you kind of have to play the game in that sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would like to nudge them away from it. Um, I think a teaching degree probably would never be a bad thing. I've actually found, um, again, in sales, a lot of teachers become salespeople after
Mhm.
they've gone and taught and they don't like it. And they're
Yeah.
actually pretty good because they understand how to structure information to deliver it in an effective way. So
Yep.
that's never a bad skill. But
Oh no.
um, I don't know. Something's going to have to change in education. I don't see how you can expect people to pay a year's salary
Mm.
for 1 year of education when, like you just said, you can get everything on the internet for free.
Yep. Well, have you used ChatGPT?
A little bit.
Yeah.
God, you know what? Indigo Nakamoto, who comes
Mhm.
into spaces.
Yep.
So he sent me yesterday something. He's been tooling around with them, and he used a couple different ones. And he took our Twitter Spaces from Wednesday night. He took the audio, and he had um, AI transcribe it, and then he had ChatGPT give a summary of our conversation.
Wow. And you can make, dude. You need to do this on your website. If you have a website,
I don't. Yeah,
you need to make a blog. Just every single day that you do one of those spaces, put a blog out there with that Chat GPT. It saves you like multiple hours, and then you get visibility on Google through SEO searches.
well, this is crazy. So let me share this. This is how man, Indigo is going to be like,
Huge potential, though.
I
I'll
hate.
talk a little bit about Chat GPT because huge potential.
Let me see if I can. I got to figure out how I'm going to display. When you pick a picture and then
Hmm.
you go to zoom in on it and the picture just keeps staying small. That's what's happening
Oh yeah.
here. So, but he did. He sent me a. Let me see if I can make this make any sense at all. Hold on. I don't want to take too much dead space. But he's summarized. Yeah, here. This will be good enough. All right. So it took. That's still pretty small. He summarized it here. This is
Yeah.
what it did. He took he downloaded recorded Twitter Spaces. He segmented it into 15 minutes, and this is what summarized from the 15-minute mark to the 30-minute mark. This is this all came from just us literally just shooting the shit, right? The
Yeah.
role of cryptocurrency in banking. Speakers discuss the role of cryptocurrency, and then it goes down, um, talks about alternative solutions to debit cards or BitPay.
It's just
Can be used
crazy.
instead of traditional bank accounts, and large
Wow.
transactions such as real estate can be challenging due to the need to show seasoned funds. And then it gets into like these. These are some questions that came from our conversations. We
Wow.
mentioned Joel Valenzuela. They discussed the grayscale, uh, not grayscale. But anyway, I'm sure there's some mistakes in here. Overall, the sentiment in the transcript is positive towards cryptocurrency and its potential to disrupt the banking industry. So look at these main points. This is how ChatGPT spits it out. Action items, follow up, stories. It's
Wow.
crazy, right?
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's unbelievable. I don't know
Yeah,
how
so
they did it.
to use the tools, yeah, I agree with you. To be able to use those tools, because I read that and I was like, yeah, I could do that. He said it cost him $2.
Hmm.
So if every week, yeah, I could take the spaces, chop them up, print articles from them, or even just use them
Yeah.
as far as like post the podcast, and then maybe that's like a supplement so people can, like you just said, keywords and Google
Oh
I believe
yeah, I
those
mean,
searches will
it's
pop up.
just,
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of college essays, any essay you want to write,
Yep.
I mean, think about it. Just say, hey, write an essay about the story of this book that you just read. Okay, let me just tell ChatGPT to do it, and it will do it, and it will
Yeah.
do it,
Right.
and it will be better than my terrible essay skills. Hey, write me an article, and I've done this before. Like, believe it or not, one of my guys, he showed me his website. You know, a guy that I know, he's a business owner for piano tuning and all that kind of stuff. And he's like, you see this article, you read it, then you see this article, then you also see the description of my business on this page. I didn't write that. It was all Chat GPT. And
Right.
I'm like, holy crap. I mean, just from a standpoint, I mean, I've seen lawyers use it now. I've seen people in school use it all the time. I mean, you're starting to, for example, schools are going to have a very hard time in the coming years because they teach memorization skills. You have to
Mm-hmm.
memorize stuff, and it's stuff that is in a curriculum that was created 20, 30 years ago. The world's
Right.
moving much faster than that. People need practicality. People need to apply and have experience. And that is where they're going to have to start competing because all of these open source, all of this AI, all of the internet is going to actually give more value. And it already is giving more value to people that just want to learn on their own. I mean,
Right.
what schools are going to have to do is compete soon enough because if they don't start changing their way of teaching, all these people are going to refuse to be paying $60,000 a year for these schools that only teach you how to memorize stuff. There's no practicality. There's no experience. Um, you know, you can get all of it for free. Why not? And now
Yeah.
they're trying to create all these software to be able to detect when you use Chat GPT for your essays and all of that stuff.
Right.
But what's the point? Because you know what? After school, you have to learn how to use tools after you graduate from schools to optimize your work, to automate your work,
Right.
to make your work more efficient. You need to know how to use tools. And instead, schools are blocking those tools from happening. Right. And so I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I'm definitely, not a pro. It's not even that. Like if
Well, I'm
I,
with you. Yeah.
it's just, I'm never going to tell someone you need to go to college. No, you don't. Go if you want. I mean, if you want to put yourself in debt, and if it makes sense.
Right. Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
obviously, doctors. Yeah, I hope you go to college. If you're going to be a
Yeah.
doctor, please go. I mean, that's actually a, you know,
Well, here's what I tell my kids about doctors. You know, doctors just have memorized a whole bunch of stuff. Not that I'm not going to offend doctors, but they look at a list of symptoms, they go, okay, this is probably what's going on, and
yeah,
they've got some resources to basically say this is what's used to fix X ailment. And so experience with doctors is again in the field, actually seeing people and being able to really get to the root of an issue is probably the skill that they're best at, that a good doctor is understands. So I'm not crapping on doctors,
yeah,
but no, I'm with you. I think that it's definitely going to be more about uh, actually filtering information and knowing how to effectively use the tools. I think is going to be the skill that's going to be needed, because anybody can just spit out masses of information or masses of data. Like we used to say in a business I used to work with, there's data and there's information. Like
hmm
data is just numbers. Information is taking all that and
interpreting. Yep,
interpreting it to actually be useful for
yep,
something, not
yep.
just to be a number.
hmm
We do that all the time with some of the charts you see in Litecoin or Bitcoin. Here's this number's going up, and it's like, well, okay, who cares? What does that mean? We need to know what that really means
Yep,
and
yep,
how
yep,
to
yep.
use that effectively, to make a decision or something like that. So, uh, yeah, no, I think you raise a good point. It's definitely one of the areas I'm really intrigued about, and I've said to my daughters, especially my younger one, she's way more into the tech stuff. Like, if
hmm
you just learn how to use AI, that should be your goal. Like,
Yep.
learn how to effectively use it, how to use it for design. I mean, you could start a marketing company today,
Oh yeah.
and you wouldn't have to take a photograph. You wouldn't have to, learn anything about how to effectively write. But if you're creative and you have a vision and you understand how to take those tools, and your end result comes from whatever's in your brain and can end up on the screen or whatever it might be, I think that's the people who will prove to be uh, really successful. So to be
Yeah.
creative and then to actually get your creative ideas in front of people. So
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's interesting.
so
We'll
everyone's
definitely
geeking
be
out on
digging.
it.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
because you start geeking out. You're like, oh, I could write articles all the time.
Yeah.
Like that'd be
I
easy. I
mean, I'm
just
telling you,
sit down and
this is gonna put a lot of people out of business. A lot of people. Well, and it might also create a lot of businesses. But why do you need to pay someone to write articles for you now? Why?
I know.
Why? You don't. And what you do is, if you don't like the article that ChatGPT told you, you hit the refresh button. It writes you a different one.
Right.
Or you actually have a conversation with ChatGPT. You'd be like, actually, can you expand on these couple points? And I want you to put more emphasis on Litecoin's MWeb capabilities.
Right.
Oh, okay, Litecoin MWeb, and then it just starts going. And I'm telling you, it's this. And
So
I
are
actually,
you paying for the Chat GPT 4 or are you just using the
I'm actually
3?
not. I'm just using the free
Yeah.
one. I don't even know
Yeah,
what
yeah.
the other paid subscription even does. I mean, I'm sure it's even better, but even the
Well,
free one does all I need to do.
I am looking at this. So I was looking at the pricing the other day because there's different prices for, creating an image, or I know I think you can do music now, right? I don't know if you heard it. Did you hear that? Like somebody took
Oh,
Drake and crap, some other famous person. Oh,
mhm.
The Weeknd,
Oh, okay.
and they created a song with their voices, and it's a good
And
song.
it's good.
You're like, that
That's
sounds like what
great.
I would hear out of the studio. So like, what's the difference? And like you mentioned, like the ability to fine tune it because
Mm,
there's no cost. I mean, there is a cost, whatever, a couple tenths of a penny or something like that, but
mhm, yeah.
there's not a lot of burden to reiterate and refine, particularly when the top side of it can be so high, and you can build an audience and generate income for yourself, and you're doing it so effectively with very little work of your own. It is a little scary though too, right? I mean, how you got people who are kids will graduate school and not know how to compose a sentence.
Yeah.
Like they don't know how to dial a phone today. I mean, not that you need it.
Right.
And it goes back to like, if you don't need it, why need it?
That is scary. Yeah. That is scary.
So that's cool. What just in general too, just about owning a business, has it been good, bad? I mean, did you like quit your job to do the watches and then
Yeah, I
if
was
so,
doing
your
it.
wife supported you and all that? It had to be stressful, right?
Well, yeah, and part of it was I was building it. The ideas were starting to come when I was about to graduate college. So I was still working part time. I'm a tennis pro, so I teach a lot of lessons on my own and all that stuff. But yeah, I still work right now. I work my 30 hours teaching. I'm a director at a tennis facility.
Okay.
It's always nice to have that stream of income, no matter what happens to sales today or tomorrow or ever, right? So it definitely did. I've found myself the last couple months to be working probably most of the hours of the day. But it's
Right.
because I love it. I mean, I love it. To me, I wake up and what I want to do is I want to work. And I want to do my side hustle. And I want to see how can I optimize this? How can I develop this? So I think no regrets whatsoever with building a business. It's hard to get it started. That's the biggest thing. Once you get it
Mm-hmm.
started, and after that, I mean, a lot of the stability is there, and then from there you can just build on up. But when I did it, and I told this, like, it's funny. I actually quit my master's degree. I was doing my master's. The director of economics decided to convince me to continue on and do a master's in economics. And that was around 2020, 2021 when I started the podcast and launched the Kickstarter campaign. Um, and dude, I'm telling you, it's just I went in there. They were teaching me the first class. 3 out of the 5 classes I was taking in my first semester for that program was calculus 2, 3, and 4, or whatever. And all it was do this calculus problem to be able to get this spot on the graph that shows whatever economic activity. And
Right.
it was teaching you, like, it is nothing about interpreting results. It is nothing about theoretical economics. It is nothing about understanding why rates are at this percent, why they should be here. Nothing about the financial system. Not one thing about money. Not one thing. And we're in economics, getting a master's degree in economics so that one day we may take a huge part in the economics of the United States. And I said, this is bullshit. Like this is literally doing nothing for me. There's no practicality. There's nothing I'm gonna get out of it. I'm I'm done. And that was when I
Right.
was starting to do the watches. So it's either I was gonna focus 20 hours of my week in this master's degree, or I'm gonna focus 20 hours of my week on, my side hustle. And
Right.
surely enough, I picked the side hustle. After that, when we launched the Kickstarter campaign, it was an epic success. I get a call from my school, my university, and now they want me to go to Wright State to give a presentation, and they write an article about my success with the business. So see, that wouldn't have happened if I would have stayed in that master's degree. So
Right.
just the irony of that was kind of funny, but
It's like Miss Teen, right? She said they kind of laughed at her when she was in school, and then
yeah,
now
yeah,
she's back talking to her old school about
right, pretty much
Bitcoin.
a little bit
Yeah.
similar, a little bit similar, but and I told in that article, I was like, a lot of people try to look for the perfect recipe to start a business, to start their own project, their podcast, whatever the hell it is.
Right.
All you got to do is start it, push along the way. I mean, the path to success is like literally backwards everywhere around, right? So there's not one recipe that I didn't know how to do half the stuff that I ended up doing.
Right.
You just kind of chug along, figure it out along the way. Eventually, now you have all this experience. I wouldn't have had any of this experience of how to trademark a business, how to create an LLC, how to do marketing, how to find influencers, how to find, all sorts of things to be able to actually create a business. And now what we're doing is we're expanding. Instead of just B2C, we're going to be doing B2B, right? Which is what I have in the background here.
Okay.
So now we've optimized our business so much, and we've been able to grow in a way that we can actually offer services even at a larger scale. So it's definitely really cool. If I recommend someone do a business, yeah, definitely do it. And that's one of the things. Interestingly enough, and I was listening to Raul Paul. You know who that is,
Okay.
right? Um,
Is he the tether guy, or is he the?
no, he's you don't know who Raul Paul is?
I know the name. I mean, I know his account, but I'm trying to remember why he's
Yeah,
prominent.
he's a huge economics guy. He's been in the finance industry for forever, but he's
Okay.
incredibly intelligent. He's gotten a
Right.
lot of stuff right, and he's like, how are people in today's day and age expected to keep up with inflation, rising cost of houses, rising cost of everything with just one salary? Just working your 9 to 5 job is not going to cut it. And so he was kind of, developing this thesis of like, it's either you invest in crypto over the long term and maybe the stock market and assets that are going to go up in value, or you go the entrepreneurial route, because there is literally no other way. You can't save money. Your money's going to get devalued over time.
Right.
Um, if you have a stream of income from your job, okay, that's great. But can you add other entrepreneurial, projects that can create that side hustle money that can provide for your family, for your actual life? Otherwise, you're going to be struggling if you just do that 9 to 5. And I've found that to be, as harsh as that may sound, it kind of is a reality. I mean, how else are you going to do it? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you pinch pennies, right?
Yeah.
And that's the only alternative. I've always lived by the mantra of like, I'm a pretty, I call myself cheap, all right? I'll use that word, but thrifty, whatever you want to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
But being very mindful of what you spend, because every dollar you spend, you had to probably make twice as much as you spent, right? After
Yeah.
taxes and everything.
Oh, yeah.
And then you'll see this as when you have kids and you start doing the math, you go, how much disposable money do I actually have every month? Is a very small amount.
Yeah.
And so if you're actually prioritizing things like putting a little money into savings and all that type of stuff, if you're fortunate enough. But
Yep.
yeah, I agree with you. And it's funny because you mentioned, the school thing, and this Litecoin thing. I I wonder if things had been different. Like, let's say Litecoin had just caught some huge run and gone to some crazy high price, and
Yeah.
maybe I'd have made enough money. I'd have been like, whatever. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah. Yeah.
But something about like the getting on Twitter and kind of that struggle for recognition in a way, I felt like with Litecoin, because we are just this community driven thing.
Yep.
I did just kind of a couple random videos, and uh, I think the same thing. I had this kind of like, hey, there's an opportunity here.
Yep.
That there's a brand Litecoin brand I can use at no cost, and it's an asset that's worldwide worth however many $1 billion.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can, there's no Litecoin podcast, like a Litecoin
Yeah.
branded podcast. So why not
Mm-hmm.
just start there? And I've learned along the way. It hasn't been, like you said, I just turned on the mic, turned on the camera.
Yeah.
That first Twitter Spaces, I didn't even know what I was really doing. I just kind of
Yeah.
thought, what the hell? Let's see what happens, right? And I think what's been interesting about being on this side of creating content
Mm-hmm.
is how cooperative people are.
Yeah.
You think someone's, like I use Miss Teen. She's a good example because she's blowing up, right? She's probably got 60 or 70,000 followers now.
Yeah.
She's somebody that's grinding, but at the same time, everybody needs content and everybody needs somebody to talk to. So if you can
Yeah.
come in with kind of all right,
Yeah.
well, he's the Litecoin guy. There's not a lot of Litecoiners out there. You can get some, people will respond to you and they're willing to at least have a conversation. That's really all you can ask for is
Yeah.
opportunities. And then from there, you just hope it grows. So it's kind of an interesting story. I'm actually kind of interested in your tennis background because I played in high school, but I went to so Toledo, I'm from Toledo, Ohio area. Well,
Uh-huh.
I'm from Toledo, so Toledo Public Schools, not exactly a hotbed of tennis.
Yeah.
There were a couple like private schools that just destroyed everybody.
Yeah.
So as public school player, I was probably the best public school player. But trust
Mhm.
me, that's saying absolutely nothing compared to. Were you ever like? Did you ever get to the point where you were ranked or anything like that?
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, I was ranked nationally, and at some point had international ranking. But I the reason why I played tennis, I'm so big into it, is because my dad was a tennis professional, so he's coached tennis all his life. My mom owned
like a
a
professional, like a
well,
touring
close,
professional.
no, close to that.
Okay, yeah.
But he did play like in the Mexican tour of pros and all that. So
Oh,
he
that's
did,
awesome.
he did really well. Now he's in the U.S. being a teaching pro, and I'm doing the same, right? Teaching like elite players. Um, but I had a good time. I love sports and I love tennis because it's a very individual sport. That's what I've
Yep.
resonated with. You only get as much as you put into it. Sports is definitely something that I'm going to start pushing my kids towards because it teaches you how to deal with loss, teaches you how to deal with bad days. You only get as good as you. I call sports the true spirit of capitalism because you literally are only as successful as you put the work in. And that's if capitalism were to be completely true that way, that's what it would be like. And it kind of teaches you that. It's I like to connect it with all these things. But
Right,
I
right.
had a good time. I went to Belgium, played high level there for a couple months, and now I'm back here in the U.S. Played Division One at Wright State University here in Ohio.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
so had another good time, and it's cool, man. I mean,
You're no joke then.
that's the only. Well, I mean, it's fun, and the nice thing is when you get to a high level like that, you can eventually monetize it, right? Like people want to get lessons from you. People
Right.
see you, they respect you. You're able to teach, which is cool. Um, but yeah, I've had a good time. It's been a lot of fun. I still do it, and probably will do it till even if I'm a gazillionaire in the future, I'll probably still do it because I just love it.
Well, it's funny because I had a guy when I was in high school, like my sophomore. We had this literally. Our coach was, I don't even know what she taught at the school, right? So she was like some 70-year-old lady. She
Hmm.
retired,
Yeah.
and they brought in this guy who was like he had tried to get to the pros. I think he had peaked out at like ranking in the 400s, 500s, like very, very good player, right?
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, it just would blow you away how good the guy was. But even
Uh-huh.
then, what's so interesting, what's funny to me about tennis is like you can be 400th in the world, and the guy who's 20th in the world would just mop the floor with you.
Yeah.
But then the guy who's one in the world would just mop the floor with the 20th guy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
It's good.
the echelon, that the top players are so superior
Oh
to
yeah, they
the
are.
the top 5 to 10, and probably top 20. You take a guy who's 80th, he's just nowhere even close to those top
Mm-mm.
guys.
No. Well, and
And
and there's a big controversy going on right now with tennis because, believe it or not, there's I think about 3,000 to 4,000 touring pros right now,
really,
and traveling all over the world. But you don't make money. Like if you're top 50, you make money. Anything below that, you don't make any money. Why? Because just tennis is such a individual sport. You got to travel on your own. You gotta take your team of people that you have. Got to pay for them. Got to pay for your coach. Got to pay for travel expenses, food. It's just not, and that's crazy. Because if you think about it, think of how many teams in the U.S. for soccer or for baseball or for football. I mean,
Right.
all the players are getting paid good money, even without playing. Right? They're just
Right.
tennis is completely different. So I think we're gonna have to try to figure out how to do the compensation differently. I'm almost thinking of doing a flat out salary just for everyone to begin with. I don't know. It's just tough, but it's kind of interesting because you would think that professionals at a high level, like even top 100, top 200, that you even watch on TV, nope, it's not profitable.
Yeah, that's
So,
interesting. Well, like golf's interesting like that. Is that every week, you got to make the cut to make any money.
mhm.
Most of those guys have sponsorships to at least cover their
Yeah,
costs of travel and that type of stuff. But
yeah,
yeah, you don't really have more than a couple 300 guys on the PGA consistently like entering tournaments and trying to make the cut
right,
because
right.
you ultimately can't afford it. But there's other tours around the world, and yeah, I mean, I think they do pretty well, even if you're. I mean, it's not a bad life, travel the world and
Oh, it's
have your
not. I mean,
expenses
it's a great
covered,
time.
right?
I mean, the reality is after you retire from sports, you'll be able to make a lot of money just from whatever you do with that sport. You make your
Right,
academy, you teach, you do whatever. You still got sponsorships. People talk about you. I mean, it's
right.
ROI at the end is pretty positive.
Did your dad ever get on the ATP or no?
No, no.
Not quite. I say,
It's
man.
hard, man. It's hard.
So who wins between you two?
Oh, I mean, I do now. We've passed that point for a while now.
When
But
was the first time you beat him? How old were you?
well, believe it or not, we never really played an official match against each other. Why I don't know, but
He didn't
I
want to
mean,
lose to you.
he's yeah. I mean, he's just gotten a little older.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
gotten hip surgery, all that stuff. So you know
yeah,
how
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But yeah, it's fun though. I love the sports life.
Yeah, yeah.
It
It
kind
is.
of
It
takes you
is.
away from the craziness of the world for a little bit.
Yeah, my kids were never really competitive enough. I mean, they're
Really.
still. They don't have that. I love playing sports
Yeah.
because I dislike losing. I dislike losing more than I enjoy winning, which might be not good,
Yeah.
like mentally. But also at the same time, if I lose, it's not like I get depressed about it. I just like, damn it, I could have done this better. I like kind of going back after the fact, think, what could I have done differently or better? And it does make you get up and only you can fix it. So I played tennis and golf in high school, both individual sports, same thing,
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
you can't blame anybody. You can only go, well, it was me who hit the shot, and my head was in the wrong place, or
Yep.
I was, yeah. I would be fine to play in tennis, and like if I can win a game or something.
Yeah, we'll have to do some sort of we'll have to get together, dude, and do some like tennis outing or golf outing. That'd be fun to do a golf outing for Litecoiners.
Oh, well, because again, I know there's a
We
couple
need
other Ohioans I already know
we
of.
need to do a meetup. We need to do a meetup in Ohio. I don't
Yeah,
even care where. We can go to Toledo and just do a couple of fun events. Doesn't even need to be expensive. Get out there. Just I think it'd be fun.
well, Dayton's not a bad place because you can get Columbus,
Cincinnati,
Indy, Cincinnati, Detroit,
Kentucky.
up here,
Yeah.
Detroit, Cleveland. That's not that far away. It's only a couple hours for me. So, Crypto Raccoon says there's a tennis court on the Litecoin cruise. Are you doing the Litecoin cruise?
Yeah. See, I really want to do that. But I've never been on a cruise. I don't know if I'm a cruise guy, but I
I did
guess I have.
once. It
Are
was
you
all
going?
right. It was all right. I don't know. I've told people Litecoin's $1,000. I'll definitely go.
Yeah.
Uh, maybe. I would say the only reason is I have been on a cruise and I'm not. I don't know. Cruises are okay to me, um, and I think it might be fun. I think it'd be like a very different experience than the summit because it'll be more of just a social thing, which is
Yeah.
that's what I like. I mean, that's what I'm here for, basically. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I would like to do a Midwest, Mid South uh, event. I think it'd be cool to do once a year. We have
I
so
think
many people from Texas, even down in Tennessee. I feel like if we could get something maybe like the Nashville area or
I think we should. I think
St.
it'd be
Louis, something like that, you might be able to get a
fun.
lot of people from a big chunk of the country. I mean, honestly, Cincinnati's not a bad central place. But
Nope.
it's got to be cheap to fly. You got to find somewhere that's cheap to actually fly in.
Well, is Cincinnati that expensive to fly into?
I don't know. I don't fly.
We'll have to plan it. We'll definitely have to do something.
We pick some like just broke down city. Let's just make it like like a white trash party, you know.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, yeah. So everybody, go check out your podcast, your YouTube. Get a watch. You know, I'll go shopping. Maybe I'll have to get one.
Hey, you can pay
Did
with
you buy
life.
a hat? Did you buy a hat or
I
no?
need to, but I think you ran out.
No, I didn't run out of hats.
Okay.
I still got a few. I got like I could maybe have like 8 left total.
Well, how about we do? I buy a hat. You buy. You, if you don't want to go that expensive, you buy a Coin Vigilante shirt. There you go.
Oh, all right, I'll figure.
No,
We'll figure
I definitely need to get a hat because I do like them a lot. Did you get them made at what company did you get them made at?
Custom Ink.
Yeah,
Actually,
they
and
did
they
good
were,
stuff.
dude. I designed it in like, I designed it on the site, and they called me, whatever tweaks, walked me through everything, and I had the hats like a week later or something. It was
And
crazy.
the nice thing, I think they do offer. Do they offer drop shipping or you have to get them all?
Yeah.
See, that's nice because then you kind of don't have.
Oh, like to sell them direct. Oh no, well I don't do it. So I had to have a batch made.
Oh,
I
okay.
had them made for the summit because I don't know, I just thought it'd be kind of a cool opportunity. I have a friend who lived out there, but
Yeah.
I think you could, like, if you had I don't know, if you had a store or something that wanted to
Yeah.
buy them, you wanted to do a batch of them, but I don't know. I just went small. I only got 40 some made to start. So
Yeah.
one of 42. I don't think again, if I get an upgraded logo, this will be the only ones that ever exist. So think about that.
That is true. That is true. I definitely need to get in there.
Maybe I should make an NFT for every hat.
That would be
It's
cool.
kind of interesting.
That would be cool. You could do that.
Maybe I could do something else besides hats. You
Let
got
me
me
see.
thinking.
I mean, you have it's on your link, right, or something?
The hats, it's in the thing, whatever. Honestly, it's just me. I don't have a shop or anything.
Oh,
So,
gotcha,
yeah,
gotcha.
I haven't gotten to that point yet.
Yeah, I see it pin here. You gotta make one, man. You're getting big enough to where people need to go somewhere to find you.
I got a long way to go, but it would be, it'd be good. I don't know if I talked to you at one point about collaborating, right? Like, it'd be kind of nice with sponsorships
Yeah.
to grab a lot of audiences and say, okay, these are 6 people that are all gonna, for a flat price, will share in a sponsorship of sorts. But we'll
Yeah.
see. Whatever.
We can talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, so hey, thanks. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Like I said, check out the podcast. Follow them on Twitter. Is that the best place to see you? Do you have like an Instagram? I'm guessing for the watches or something.
Yeah,
Like
we do. Yeah, just type Coin Vigilante. You'll find us on Twitter and on Instagram. So
I'll
also
try to.
TikTok, but the TikTok IQ I've seen lately is not the highest with crypto.
The TikTok IQ, you said?
The IQ of people there, it's not. That's another.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, those are the masses you want to reach, man.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Anyway, sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. All right, everybody, have a good weekend. Thanks for coming, Carlos.
Appreciate it. Had a lot of fun.
Yeah, talk to you later.
See ya.